This is the spot on the property where Mark and I first, when we walked it, 2-3 years ago, came out here and we looked at this area. Had the most similarities to links turf and qualities and sand on the property. And when we were walking through this area, we noticed some of the natural bunkers in their own state, from the animals that formed, either the cattle or the rabbits hunkering down from the wind had formed them on this property, and it started the whole thought process on what type of bunkering we might use at Castle Stuart. The evolution of bunkers actually started in that same format, with animals, rabbits, sheep hunkering down from the wind, burrowing into the sand and creating some sandy scrapes, which then the wind tended to carve out and turn into the bunkers, sand bunkers that we know in this day and age. We looked at Horace Hutchinson's book from 1897, British Golf Links, and as I was flipping through the pages of that, we noticed that the bunkering of the original links golf courses was really much more rustic and natural and raw feeling, as opposed to the clean, revetted bunkering that you now associate with links golf. And as I looked more and more at those photos, I thought this might be something that would match a little bit more closely in style, something that Jim Wagner and I had developed over years in this sort of more natural feeling bunkering, almost replicating or trying as best we could to replicate erosion and that original bunker scrape or wind blow that we found on early links golf courses. It would certainly be something that hasn't been tried in well over 100 years, and it would be something I think that would give some character to this golf course that nobody else is really trying to create. The transition from the native bunker edge to revetting was basically an effort by the early greenkeepers to shore up areas that had been trampled either by people stepping in and out of the bunkers or had constantly collapsed over a period of time just by the wind or through erosion. So as part of our bunker evolution here, we've actually added some revetted spots that we've tried to make it feel as if we had shored up some of the bunkers where they had collapsed, where it would make sense. So it wasn't just a random thought process of, well, let's stick revetting in here. Let's really try and look through the overall bunker and try and find areas where we might ultimately have had experience collapsing. And so the result was Jim and Chris and Ross and the boys all sort of focused in on putting these bits of revet, which you see behind me, try and tie it into the overall feel. So you've got the chunking, the bits of revet, and then when we have bunkers that are all tightly mown around with tight mow from a fairway or from a green, those bunkers are fully revetted, because the transition from a tight mow to a chunking with the tall wispy grasses really almost looks like a bad haircut, actually, if you just sort of have this grass popping up out of the middle of nowhere. So wherever we have that transition from tight mow to bunker, we have revetted the faces. So primarily greenside bunkers, and then centrally located fairway bunkers are solely revetted.
This is a half revet and half chunk bunker, and the guys who are doing this revetting work are Graham Winter and Neil Cameron. Neil originates from Brora and Graham originates from Fife, where you'll see a lot of revetted bunker, and that shows in the work. The chunking effect around the top, again, is to make the bunker look a lot older before its time. How you actually build the revet is to take turfs, cut them about 6 inches wide, dig down, make a foundation, and then lay them back. And depending on the severity of the bunker, you either use 2 fingers to lay back or 3 fingers to lay back.
So really the treatments that you find on all the bunker faces, you've got the revetting, you have the chunking of the wispy grasses, and then you have the heather, combining all to make what we think are, again, the most unique bunkers in all of golf, that not only in Scotland, but I think pretty much in the world, these bunkers will stand out not only as a tribute to the origins of bunkers in the first place, but also I think for their creativity and their feel and their natural look and style. It'll be a very, very distinct feature of the golf course.